All right, Harbor Solar, let's get this going. We'll go ahead and get our live started. Make sure my phone is on do not disturb and all those fun things. But make sure I have my attention directly and on everybody here. And look, we have Romel Brown, the husband, the tech man. It's already started recording. I'm about to start live, I think. Oh, I got it. Let me figure it out. Thank you. Right there. That's how you do it. And then you do that one right there. And you push this button down here to switch the camera. Okay. Perfect. I don't need that bright. I don't need to see these people.
That bright because how people see it, phone will be dim. Phone will be dim. Let's take man. Take man. There you go. You see how they work out?
Can we do the other lights instead of this light then, Mr. Tech Man?
Where?
Okay. I don't have anybody joining anybody yet. All right, guys. It is 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, which means it's 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started this evening. I want to thank you all for, first and foremost, your time this evening, taking the time this evening on this webinar to spend time with me. And we're going to be shining a light on solar energy. And I want you guys to know that you will be learning about the benefits of solar and how Harbor Solar can help you take control of your energy without any upfront cost. All right. So we're going to keep it going. I'm just making sure our slides are working here. Am I not screen sharing? That is important, huh? Make sure everybody can see the slides. Yes, let's do that. All right, there we go. All righty. All right, let's keep it moving. This was our first slide just to make sure everybody can see what's happening over here. Our first slide was just shining a light on solar energy, all right? All right, we're moving forward. So again, cognizant of your time this evening, I just want to say that this training is for you if you are currently a homeowner, someone who is a homeowner, you're looking for a solution to electricity rate increases, you want to have a consistent electricity bill, you want to learn how to increase your home's value while decreasing your monthly electricity bill. All right, now, if you belong in this training, in this webinar this evening, go ahead and drop a sun in the chat for me. I want to make sure you guys are up. I know it's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I want to make sure you guys are up. Go ahead and drop a sun in the chat. If you're on my live, if you're on my Zoom, drop a sun in the chat for me, all right? I want to make sure you guys are where you're supposed to be, where you would like to be, all right? So who we are. For those of you who might have been on Zoom a few minutes early, you would have saw my husband assisting with some of the tech stuff, getting set up here. And that's who's pictured here and not just myself in front of you. So I'm Shayla Brown, and the guy pictured, or the guy if you were on Zoom that you might have saw, was my husband, Romel Brown. So we're married, okay? We said he's my husband. And we've been married for almost 4 years. We're going on 4 years here in December. And we were high school sweethearts, so we've been together for a while now, all right? So not just husband and wife, but also business partners. We are solar consultants with Harbor Solar, okay? We are homeowners who were looking for relief from our increasing electricity bill, all right? And our increasing energy bill, all right, guys? I just got my most recent bill. And unfortunately, Romel and I, well, not really unfortunately, but fortunate for us, I guess, we went ahead and sold our home here recently, and we weren't able to have solar installed on it before we sold it. So the plan here for us is as we move forward, we'll be getting solar installed, but you'll learn why it's important that I myself go ahead and get solar installed, because I agree with everything that's in this webinar, all right? So I just want you guys to know that, hey, we are, in on our own product, okay? But anyway, we are real estate investors as well. Like I said, Romel and I are business partners, not just in Harbor Solar, but we do real estate investment as well. But we're always looking for ways to increase home values, okay? Always looking for ways to increase home values. So let me tell you a little bit more about our journey to get here, okay? So like I said, Romel and I have been married for almost 4 years, but we both have different backgrounds. Romel's background's in business, mine is in engineering. So we both kind of had this project management kind of like experience while we were growing up. I mean, being firstborns and everything. So you kind of learn some project management, whether it's managing or management in general, right? Managing your siblings or whatever. But nonetheless, project management is where I specifically went after college as well. So I've been in project management here for the last 7 years, okay? And I've worked on several different kind of projects, but more recently I've been working on a lot of energy projects. So I worked on nuclear sites, I've worked on a solar farm, and that's kind of been my experience. So with that kind of happening over the last few years of us becoming real estate investors and, always looking for that home value, as well as being homeowners, having issues with our own electricity bill, right? My bill is just $351.21 this past month. It's coming due here in the next week or two, all right? But with that information, Romel and I were looking for solutions that kind of, could help with both of those things if possible, right? We would love to, for lack of a better term, kill 2 birds with 1 stone. All right. So with that thought process, Romel and I decided to go forward, and we went ahead and start seeking solutions. And one of the things we were listening to a podcast that we generally listen to called the Secret to Success podcast. And they were talking about this solar company they own. And they had mentioned it a couple times, a couple podcasts like the year prior, but they had never mentioned it with an opportunity attached, right? So they mentioned it this last time and mentioned it with the opportunity attached. And Romel and I were like, okay, let's dig into this a little bit more. So we dug into Harbor Solar. Like I said, we're solar consultants with Harbor Solar, but we dug into Harbor Solar a little bit more. And what we realized was that Harbor Solar's values match the values of us as individuals and as well as business men and women as well. So that's kind of how we got it started with our solar journey. But enough about me. Let's go ahead and talk about you here, all right? So I just want you to take a second here this evening, guys. Take a second and imagine, right? I'm a very visual person. I want you to go ahead and just think about this if you need to close your eyes or whatever, but imagine what life will look like when you can take control of your energy, okay? Just if you need to close your eyes again, I'm a visual person. I like to close my eyes and I have to imagine to see things in my brain, so that's how I work. But you just take a second here with me and imagine, all right? Imagine your electricity bill savings, using those electricity bill savings to plan a family vacation. Just imagine what that could look like, okay? Now, imagine being able to take control of your energy and access more equity in your home. Think about that for a second. Imagine that. What could that look like for you, right? Imagine it, all right? Now, imagine being able to start that business you always wanted to start it with that excess equity in your home. Think about that. Could that be life-changing? Okay. Imagine having an energy statement that has an energy usage credit, a credit on your energy statement, like a negative bill. Imagine that. Imagine that for me. Why is this not working? All right, we're gonna get this going. So I want you to take a second, right? How many of you can relate to at least one of these? And I want you to drop a sun in the chat for me if you can relate, all right? So, you know, you've had a $300 plus electricity bill. Like I just said, I just had one recently, right? And I get my electricity bill through my email. So, and you know, I'm sure one of you can relate to pulling up that email, seeing that bill, like I just did a couple of weeks ago. I saw 351.26 and I came in the house on a mission to turn off every light that was on, unplug everything that was plugged in the walls. I fussed at my dog. I fussed at my husband about having lights on. My dog don't have nothing. He can't turn the lights on or off. He can't do nothing. Okay. I'm fussing at him for even being in a room with the light on because he's the reason it's on. Right. So it just like, you know, is that something you can relate to? A $300 plus electricity bill and then coming in to fuss to your family about it. How about making monthly budget cuts in order to stay afloat financially? Is that something you can relate to? What about working overtime or working a side gig in order to subsidize your income? I'm talking Uber, Uber Eats, DoorDash, Instacart. I know somebody out there that works something. Okay, I know Romel has worked Uber before. All right, we did what we had to do to get where we need to get. So I know somebody out there has done that for sure. How about relating to being sick and tired of your utility companies taking advantage of you? Again, guys, it's Romel, myself, and our dog. Okay, we don't have children yet. There is no reason our electricity bill should have been $351.26 at all. I'm tired of getting taken advantage of. I know you are too. So let's talk about what it is you truly desire. Is this what you truly desire? No rate increases? How about a consistent electricity bill? What about increasing your home's value? Is that desirable to you? Drop a sun in the chat if that's desirable to you. Increasing your home's value? What about monthly savings on your electricity bill? How about receiving a check from your electricity company? That's that credit again, guys. Seeing that negative statement. Is that something that's desirable, seeing a negative statement instead of owing your electricity company, them owing you? Think about that. That's got to be desirable for somebody out there. Well, you can have these things and more. However, there are some hard truths you must be aware of. So here are some hard truths. Hard truth number one, your electricity bill is only going to continue to rise. Hard truth number two, your electricity bill is not a value-add expense. Guys, paying these bills every month, these utilities, it's almost like burning money, okay? Yes, it's providing us a service, but it's not value add, okay? We're not getting a return on investment for paying your electricity bill. It doesn't even show up on your credit statement. They don't give you any credit for paying your electricity bill and paying it on time. So it's not a value add expense. Your electricity, hard truth number three. I just want you guys to take this one in for me. Your electricity usage will only continue to rise. Now think about that for a second for me, guys. All right. It's only going to rise. Now, why is it going to rise? It's because we're in the artificial intelligence age, okay? We're using more and more power. Your children, all right, they're only going to have more and more devices, okay? I know personally for me, growing up, we gathered more and more devices as we got older, all right? We started with Super Nintendo. I'm aging myself here now, guys, all right? I'm aging myself, I'm telling my age. Started with Super Nintendo. My uncle had one, so I played his. We went on to Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy DS, right? Like, it just keeps going more and more. So your electricity usage is only going to continue to rise. But don't worry, I'm going to show you how to create your own truth, just like we have with clients like Alice and George. So here's their story. Alice and George said, we got our solar panels installed from Harbor Solar. We are already referring our friends and family to solar. What it did for us is it dropped our power bill from $421 a month to $83 from the utility and $136 a month for the solar panels. So now, on average, our total bill is around only $220 a month. That's with us running our pool pump 6 to 12 hours a day. Another benefit was a tax credit of $13,000 and a $2,000 rebate from Jackson Power. Go solar. Now, let me get this straight. Allison George got in contact with Harbor Solar and decided to go solar. And then ended up saving $201 a month. Wow. And on top of that, got a $13,000 tax credit and a $2,000 rebate from Jackson Power. Wow. All right, Allison George, great job. Now, how about Ethan? Here's Ethan's story. I wholeheartedly give my recommendation and endorsement to Harbor Solar. Our consultant walked us through the entire process with a clear plan and honest assessment of possible roadblocks. Our system is performing flawlessly. When someone asks me if I'm pleased, I just let my negative power bill speak for itself. So Ethan is different than Allison George. We just talked about Allison George saving $201 a month by going solar, right? Original bill was $421. And then after the utility bill statement that they get now, along with their solar panels that they pay for, they're at $220 a month, okay? Ethan is getting a negative power bill, okay? So whoever his solar provider is giving him a credit every month because he is producing more power than his home can utilize, okay? So Ethan's just paying for the solar panels. And then the electricity company is paying Ethan, okay? So I want you to take a second and, we're gonna clear our minds here and we're gonna forget everything that you've learned about decreasing your solar bill. And it's time to learn the right way to decrease your solar bill, all right? So here's our goal. Our goal is to reveal the benefits of solar and help you discover how to save money on your monthly electricity bill without any upfront cost. So I know you're asking, right, Shayla, why should I care about solar? Like, why wouldn't I just keep doing what I'm doing now? Yeah, I can save a couple of dollars, okay, but it can't possibly be that important. Well, that's where you're wrong, because there's something called the Inflation Reduction Act that was passed in the last few years, in 2022, I believe. And while there are several different points to the Inflation Reduction Act, there's two things I need you to know about it that impacts why solar should matter to you, okay? So point one is that the Inflation Reduction Act incentivizes energy production companies to cut emissions and utilize clean energy sources to produce energy, all right? All right, so what that essentially means is we are currently using fossil fuels majorly to produce power, okay? Natural gas, oil, coal is being burned at power plants, releasing horrible emissions into the atmosphere, okay? But that burning of that fossil fuels is what is creating power, and we get electricity like my light above me, right? I turn on the switch and I get electricity, my power comes on, all right? So that's how power is currently created, right? That's how we're producing power right now, right? So what the government decided was, they're like, man, like these CO2 emissions we're getting is not looking good for us, right? So what we want to do is we got this brilliant idea. We're going to tell the energy production companies that you're no longer going to be using fossil fuels because it produces way too much CO2 and way too many emissions into the atmosphere. That's not good for us. So instead, what we're now going to do is we're going to require you to change the way that you produce energy. So instead of using fossil fuels, now you will be utilizing renewable energy, okay? And the reason, there's no reason for you to fight us on this, right? Why? Because we're going to go ahead and give you the money to make this change, okay? Okay, so the energy companies went, okay, government, that's great. We'll do it. We'll have it done by 2030, like you're asking us to. And we just want to know, for our standpoint, we use fossil fuels because it's cheap, okay? It's cheap, that's why we use it. But you want us to do this change, but who's going to pay for production of energy now. Like, yeah, you're paying for us to change our plants or build new ones that meet your standards by 2030, but who's going to pay for the way we produce energy? Now it's going to cost us more to produce this energy. Who's paying for that? Government was like, hey, we don't quite frankly care. That's not our business. We just want you to make these changes. And so the energy companies, they got this bright idea in their head. They said, you know what? Instead of us footing the bill like we probably should, you know who we're gonna get to do this? Those consumers. Because they need energy anyway. They gotta have electricity, so they'll pay whatever we tell them they'll pay. And that is how and why we are seeing our energy bills continue to rise. But we'll talk a little bit more about that here soon. The other thing the Inflation Reduction Act does is it provides a 30% tax credit to homeowners through 2032. Okay, so the government is handing you money to go solar or to utilize other renewable sources of energy for your home. Okay, they're giving 30% to consumers, homeowners. All right, 30% tax credit through 2032. And then each year after that, it is going to be a 4% deductions. So 2033, we'll see it go down to 26%, 2034, 22%, 2035, 18%, and then so forth and so on. All right, guys. And so let's talk about this, right? Climbing electricity costs. It's a nationwide problem. All right. And if you don't believe me, let's read a little bit of these articles. A couple of these articles is on this Zoom call. And if you're on live with me right now, make sure in the future that if you want to see these slides, you join us on Zoom. Please be sure to do that, all right? Because I believe it's imperative that you guys can see these slides as well. So we want to see you on this Zoom. But let's talk about it. Climate electricity costs, a nationwide challenge. So I'm going to go to the bottom left here, and it says first energy electricity prices for many will double by June. Here's how Northeast Ohio customers can save money. All right, so we got Northeast Ohio. Okay, that's one state, Ohio. One state, Shayla. What are you talking about? Nationwide challenge? Girl, bye. Okay, you don't believe me yet. That's fine. You don't have to believe me yet, but I have more proof, so we're going to get to it, okay? We're going to go to the top right. Price of power. Tampa Bay area residents struggle to pay rising electricity bills. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I believe Tampa Bay is in Florida. So we just got Ohio. They're seeing prices of electricity rise. And then we added Tampa Bay in Florida. And now they're seeing prices of electricity rise. Okay. Okay. Now, how about this one here? 12% increase approved for Georgia Power starting in June. And that article was produced in May 2023. And that means Georgia, the next month, started seeing a 12% increase that started the next month. If you were Georgia Power, if your power was provided by Georgia Power. Okay, there's another article over here. It says electricity prices surged 14.3% in 2022, double overall inflation. And that was a US report. So that was taken accumulatively across the US. We've seen a surge in 14.3% in 2022. And that number has only continued to rise, guys, all right? So let's talk about the pros and cons, right? Let's compare electric energy to solar energy. And I want to go side by side with this, guys, because I want you to see exactly what I'm talking about here, all right? So electric energy is more expensive than solar, and costs keep rising. And I just explained why. We talked about the Inflation Reduction Act and the cost being higher for the energy production companies to produce energy because now they have to use renewable energy sources, right? Versus fossil fuels. But with solar, it's less expensive, fixed energy costs, and you get to own your energy. And in some instances, you get to eliminate your electricity bill altogether. Okay. Well, with electric energy, you receive no government tax credits. Again, it's almost like lighting your money on fire. Yes, you're getting a service, you're getting power. However, no value add. But with solar energy, you qualify for a 30% tax credit, and the average for that is at least $10,000. It's $10,000 plus. That's what we're seeing across most people who are going solar. They're getting at least $10,000 in a tax credit. Okay. With electric energy, you cannot sell any energy back to the electricity company. What you draw from the grid is what you will be paying for. Okay. However, with solar, you can sell your excess energy back to the electric company, just like Ethan did. We talked about Ethan in my case studies. Ethan has a negative power bill, guys. So that means that the electricity company that Ethan is using is saying, hey, Ethan, you're producing more power than you can use. We could absolutely use that. Let us get that off you. Let me just take that extra that you're not using and let me send it to your neighbor because they need it. And I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but we've seen a couple more blackouts throughout the year this year. Most of those were on purpose because there wasn't enough power, right? We're drawing, as a consumer, we're drawing more power than what is being supplied. Supply and demand, guys, it's economics, okay? There's this much supply, this much demand. Price is going to continue to go up on top of what we talked about with the Inflation Reduction Act, okay? So electric energy does not help with selling your home at all. No one is going to your house and saying, oh my goodness, the electricity, it works so well. Nobody cares about that. Homeowners are not looking at that. They might be looking at your electric panels to make sure they're good. They're not like, oh my goodness, the light turns on, great. That's not how it works at all, okay? Again, I'm in real estate as well. We are real estate investors. That's not how it works. However, with solar energy, homes are selling on average about 20% faster. So, you know, if you're considering going solar and you're considering possibly selling your house in the next few years, if that's something that's on your mind, but you want to save money now, so you want to go solar, which we'll talk about how you can go solar, of course. But if you're considering that, that's something to put in your mind. That's this year, the average is 20%. That's not that we don't expect to continue to rise, guys, okay? So with electric energy, you're renting and paying for your energy forever. Electricity adds no extra value to your home. But with solar energy, you get ownership of your energy, right? And it increases your home value between 4 to 10%. And that's something we'll definitely touch on a little bit further as well, guys. With electric energy, it's producing carbon emissions that are harmful to Earth. However, solar reduces the demand of fossil fuels. So I want to do a quick breakdown with you guys, because I want you to like really understand where I'm coming from, okay? So I want to do a breakdown and I want to talk about oh my goodness, it started over. So sorry, guys. This was not supposed to start over. If you are on my Zoom, give me 1 second. I'm going to get us back to the right place. All right, there we go. But we're going to talk about this traditional energy cost breakdown real quick. All right. And so what I want to do is show you over the next 25 years what it would look like if you stuck with electric energy and did not go solar, okay? The next 25 years, let's assume that your bill for the year of 2024 is $200 per month. No fluctuation, just all of 2024, each and every month, $200 per month, okay? And we're going to also assume that there's going to be only a 5% annual increase for the next 25 years, all right? Again, these are the assumptions. I want to make these numbers as simple as possible so that everybody understands what I am talking about here. So let's go through this real quick, all right? So let's do this. So for the next 25 years with these standards here, starting in 2024, for $200 a month for 12 months, you would have spent $2,400 for the year of 2024 on your energy. Again, we know that this is not how your electricity bills work. We know they fluctuate, but I want to make these numbers as simple as possible. I want you to understand the point that I'm trying to make here, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to that 200 number. We know that for the year it costs us $2,400. And we're going to say, okay, we're going into 2025, year 2, guys. But again, we're going to increase our bill amount by 5%. So this is the time for you guys. If you want to go ahead and pull out your calculator, we're going to go through a couple of years here. Make sure my math is good. Check my math if you can. I just want to make sure everybody understands that I round to the second decimal point as well. But For year 2, we're gonna do 200 times 5% or 200 times 0.05, okay? And what you should see is $210 for the year 2025, all right? $210. And if we multiply that by 12, for the year of 2025, you would have spent $2,520 for your electricity bill for the year, okay? So going on back to that 210, we're gonna again multiply by 5% for year 3, 2026. And what you should see is $220.50, okay? And I'm gonna just slide on over to this other slide so we can see the math that I'm looking at here as well, guys, all right? So we can understand what I'm looking at. So even if you're not using your calculator, you can follow me. So going back to year 3 at $220.50 each month for the year of 2026, we're gonna move over to 2027. And we're gonna again multiply by 5% because each year we're doing that 5% increase, even though truly the average is somewhere between 4 to 20%, okay? We're gonna just say it's 5, simple, easy numbers. So now what I see in year 4 is that we went from $220.50 to year 4, we're now at $231.53. And now for the year, if we multiply by 12, we're spending $2,778.30 for our electricity bill. Now remember, guys, year 1, we started at $2,400. Year 4, we're at $2,778.30. So let's keep this going. Our monthly payment for year 4 was $231.53. And again, we're gonna go ahead and multiply that by 5% again, guys. Because again, I'm trying to make a point here. So multiply that by 5% again. And that's $243.10, okay? And if we multiply that number by 12 for the year 5, we are now spending $2,917.22. Is this not sharing this entire time? Is it? Okay. We're good. I'm just making sure we're sharing here. So sorry, guys. All right. So that was 5 years, guys. And I mean, I can keep going. We keep going. By year 10, we'll be paying $310.27, which will come out to $3,723.19 for the year. By year 15, we'll be at $395.99, which means for the year, we've almost doubled our payment now by year 15 to $4,751.84, and so forth, so on. To the point that after 25 years, if I added up, if I did this for 25 years, like I have on my screen on Zoom here, and I added up all the yearly payments for 25 years, I would have spent over 25 years to power my home, to have lights on like this one above me here, guys, $114,545.04. Again, basically burning this money because again, it's no value add, right? I turn this light on, I pay the company, there's no value add. They don't even report it to the credit bureau to say that you paid on time. It's no value add. You're basically lighting this money on fire, right? And let's also think about the fact that while your bill went up at a 5% rate every year, I just want to ask the question, did your pay go up at a 5% increase rate every year? The answer is probably no. The answer is probably no, guys. I'm sure your pay did not match the needs of your bill increasing on this breakdown we just did, okay? But it's okay, we're gonna keep moving, we're gonna keep moving. I just wanted you guys to see that, to understand how much you will be paying over the next 25 years with this example. So now you're asking, Shayla, how does solar impact my home equity? Because you done brought home equity up a couple of different times. So how does it impact my home equity? Solar and energy efficient upgrades are exempt from property taxes in most states. The results increase the value of your home and overall marketability to sell quickly. Remember, guys, we talked about solar helping homeowners sell their home 20% faster. Now, by adding solar panels to your roof, that increases your home value somewhere between 4 to 10%, okay? So let's just do another quick example here, guys. On average, the average home cost across the United States is around $300,000. Using simple numbers here, $300,000. If you had a $300,000 home, you could look with adding solar panels to your home, you would see your home value increase somewhere between 12 to 30%. Guys, 12 to 30,000, not 30%. My goodness. 4 to 10%, but 12 to 30,000 for a $300,000 house. Now, somebody in the chat, let me know if you can use the ability to access somewhere between $12 to $30,000. Y'all let me know. I know I could use $12 to $30,000. If I had a $300,000 house, I know I could utilize that. There we go. We got some hands going up. There we go. Somebody looks like Sierra can utilize it. Now, we've talked about a couple different things, and I know you're like, okay, Shayla, that's all fine and dandy, but you said that I needed to know possibly a homeowner. I didn't necessarily have to be a homeowner when you first started this webinar. So I'm not a homeowner. Why am I here? Because everything you've talked about has been about homeowners so far. You're absolutely right. All right. We're going to talk about this right now. Okay, guys? Harbor Solar is starting to make its way into the rental industry. Now that's important. Okay. We're in our beta phase. In New York, we have started to test out, making sure that we can go ahead and start phasing into the rental industry. But here's an even better option for you if you're not a homeowner. Obviously, we want you to stay along the journey. Follow us on our Instagram, our TikTok, our Facebook page, which we'll have posted here at the end of this. Obviously, we want you to follow us so you can be a part of that rental industry with us, with Harbor Solar. But the other thing I need you guys to understand and to know is that we offer $1,000 for each converted referral. Now, how many people in the chat could use an extra $1,000? Just from talking to somebody, right? How crazy would it be to make an extra $1,000 from talking to somebody, which you're already doing anyway, about solar energy, and then referring them to Harbor Solar, the Brown brokerage, right? Them going solar, and then you getting $1,000 from it. I know somebody can utilize that. Now, the way I see it, guys, you guys have two paths ahead of you now. Path one leads to paying increasing energy rates. It leads to trying to decrease your energy usage to offset your bill. It leads to feeling stressed and holding your breath when you open your electricity bill again. Guys, we talked about this earlier. I open up my email when I see, here in Kansas City, it's called Evergy. When I see Evergy come through, I'm holding my breath, okay? And for good reason. They're always sending me $300 plus bills. It never fails. It never fails. I know you're tired of holding your breath. So why are we doing it? Why are you stressed and holding your breath when you open your electricity bill? That's what path one is leading to. So path one is leading to no changes, right? You're going to stay exactly where you are. It leads to being subjected to increasing energy rates. It leads to stress, uncertainty, and most of all, it leads to continuing to have no control over your electricity bill. But there is another path. And this path leads to peace and savings. This path allows you to no longer be a victim of increasing electricity rates. This path leads to taking control of your energy. And path two, imagine. Again, guys, I'm a very visual person, so if you need to imagine by closing your eyes and seeing it, that's how I operate, so please feel free to do that. But imagine being able to fund that business ideal you have using the increased equity in your home. Guys, we talked about it, $300,000 house at a 4 to 10% increase in equity is somewhere between $12,000 to $30,000. Imagine being able to use that money to fund that business ideal. Now imagine the electricity company paying you for the excess energy you produce. All right. We talked about Ethan, our client Ethan. Okay. He has a negative bill coming from his electricity provider. they're paying him for the extra energy that they're taking from his home in order to go forward and use it for his neighbors. Again, supply and demand. This much supplier of energy, this much demand. They're taking it from Ethan, okay, guys? So imagine being like Ethan. Imagine using your solar savings to go on that family vacation you keep putting off. All right, guys, let's talk about Alice and George again, all right? We talked about how Alice and George were spending originally $421 a month before going solar, and then after solar, on average, you're seeing their bill being $220 a month. 136 of that is for the solar panels, and on average, you're spending about $83 because they have a pool, okay? Now, in that instance, they're saving $201 a month. Now, just imagine with me, all right? If you're like Alice and George and your bill, obviously looks like that. Imagine Alice and George. Put yourself in their shoes right now. You're Alice and George, okay? Or you're Alice or George. Doesn't matter to me, okay? But imagine that extra savings of $201 a month. At the end of the year, that's $2,412. Somebody check my math. Let me know if that's the right number. $201 a month translates to $2,412 for the year. Imagine being able to take that money, set it aside to go on that family vacation you keep putting on. Imagine that, guys. Now imagine no longer being frustrated with your family for not turning off the lights around the house. Again, guys, we talked about it. We come in the house, we see that bill, we can flip through the mail, grab the mailbox, flip through the mail, see our electricity bill, open it up. Lo and behold, the bill is outrageous. And what's the next thing you're doing? You're coming in here into your home and you're screaming at everybody, okay? Why are the lights on? What are you using this for? Why is this light on? Nobody's in this room. We all have done it. We're guilty. We're guilty. So if you're ready to choose path 2, taking control of your energy and getting real results, then here's your next step. And that next step is our Zero Down Solar program. All right, our Zero Down Solar program. And I know it sounds crazy, guys. Zero down, Shayla. I told you guys at the beginning of this that we were going to learn how to take control of your energy with no upfront costs. And I meant it, okay? I meant it. Because we have a Zero Down Solar program here at Harbor Solar. We sure do. The Brown Brokerage can surely get you lined up with that. And this is how we'll do it, okay? We have 6 steps in this program, all right? Step 1, the most important step in my opinion, is we're going to collect your utility bill. Now, Shayla, why is step 1 so important? Well, step 1 is important. I'm so glad you asked. I'm so glad you guys asked. Step 1 is important because we need to gather information about your property, right? About your home, right? To make sure that you actually qualify for solar, right? We're looking at things like making sure that solar is actually provided in your area. That's important. That your electricity company actually works, and it's accepted the fact that people are going solar, essentially, right? We're looking at making sure that there aren't any issues around your house that could be preventing you from getting the maximum amount of solar. Obviously, so sun power, we want to get the maximum amount of solar energy on your home, obviously. So those are the kind of things we're looking at, right? We're looking at your home to see, your area and make sure that everything is copacetic and that you actually qualify for solar. Then there's step 2. This is when you'll have our solar consultation call, our one-on-one solar consultation call. And remember, guys, I mentioned my husband earlier, okay? We're business partners. You see me right here, right now in this webinar. When we get to our one-on-one consultation call, more than likely you'll be seeing Romel. All right, that's who we'll be talking with and moving forward, doing business with. Okay, that's who we'll be talking to. We'll be asking more questions to Romel. If Shayla needs to be in the call, we can absolutely talk about that in the next slide. If that's something you want to see. I mean, I know most of you guys are on here because of this personality here, but nonetheless, I appreciate you being here. But that's what we're going to do in step 2. All right, we're going to review we're going to have our solar consultation call, free, no hassle solar consultation call, okay? And we're going to review customer proposals and select the best one for your home, all right? In step 3, we're going to get design, permits, and apply for interconnection. In step 4, we're going to install the solar panels. In step 5, we're going to get them turned on, power on, of course. And then in step 6, you're going to start producing clean energy. All right, guys. Now, I mentioned that Harbor Solar had some values earlier that align with Romel and I's values, but I want to tell you a little bit more about Harbor Solar here. First and foremost, they were founded in 2017 and they're headquartered in Atlanta, Georgia, all right? Now, our executive team has over 20 plus years of combined solar experience, which is great for us and great for you. We are also a cloud-based technology and technology-driven company. And on top of that, guys, our executive team has overseen thousands of installations from start to finish. So not only do they have 20 plus years of combined experience, but they've also overseen thousands of installations from start to finish, which means any questions that Romel and I might not have answers to, we have the support to back us to get answers. Anything that we have not seen, someone else in our team has seen, and we can get answers and make sure that we're getting through it as smoothly as possible, okay? We have a great support group with Harbor Solar. So by offering a cleaner, cheaper alternative to traditional energy, Harbor assists residential homeowners by providing solar power at no upfront cost. So here's Harbor national footprint, okay, guys? We're in 23 states. I'm not going to name every single one of the states because if you are on my Zoom, then you can see the 23 states. However, I'm going to correct this 23 here. We're actually in 25 states. We have recently added Nevada and Utah, which are not on the list on this picture. Harbor usually updates this number every 3 to 5 states or so and uploads this picture. However, they have not done that yet because we're still working on a few more. So, but what you need to know is that we operate in 25 states and there's more states on the roadmap for 2024. If you don't believe me though, guys, let me just be the first to say that Romel and I started with Harbor Solar and the Brown brokerage for us. But when we started with Harbor Solar, they only had 13 states. And that was at the top of 2024. We're nearing the end of 2024 and we're now at 25 states, okay? They are getting states added all the time. Now, Harbor works with the best installers in your state to provide full satisfaction. And we're also seeing, on average, a 60 to 90-day process from start to finish, from step 1 to step 6. Again, some of that varies with how quickly we're able to move with some of the steps, obviously. But from step 1 to step 6, on average, we're seeing a 60 to 90-day process. Okay, guys? Now, I'm gonna let y'all know a secret. Maybe I shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna let y'all know a secret. Here recently, we've been looking more like 45 days, guys. Now, that might fluctuate with some of the things that are happening in the world currently, but on average, to be safe, I'd like to tell everybody that we usually operate between 60 to 90, okay? So, we've done all this. We talked about solar. Shayla, how do I get in contact with you guys? How do I sign up for a solar consultation? So in order to get started, I have a QR code here on my Zoom. And if you're on my Instagram Live, then there is an opportunity for you as well. Please go ahead and comment solar on one of our more recent posts, and we'll go ahead and get this what's on the QR code sent over to you so that you're able to upload and get step 1 completed and get your electricity bill, your most recent one, uploaded for us, and we can move forward with our solar consultation. But if you are on my Zoom, then you have a QR code in front of you, okay? So I want you to go ahead and scan that to get started. Or you can visit us at harborsolarbb.com, which will have a link for you to be able to click and get to the page to upload, of course, your electricity bill, your most recent one, because we got to start with step 1, guys. We got to get that bill first to make sure you qualify. So, guys, we have had an excellent webinar here. And I want to make sure that you guys still have the opportunity to get in touch with us after this, all right? So I'm not going to say the phone number out loud because I am on Instagram Live as well. But if you're on my Zoom here, you have access to this phone number. If you're on Instagram, again, send us a DM, comment on our post. We'll get you the information you need. However, there's a phone number here. You'll get directly in contact with Romel, and he'll be able to get you the information you need if you have any questions. You can also visit our webpage at harborsolarbb.com. Again, harborsolarbb, guys.com. And that's Harbor Solar Brown Brokerage, okay? Because we are the brown brokerage of Harbor Solar, all right? The other thing you can do is you can follow us on TikTok or Instagram at Harbor Solar BB. And on Facebook, we are Harbor Solar, the brown brokerage. We have a business page, all right, guys? If all of that fails and you're like, Shayla, I would like to email you, fine, email us at info@harborsolarbb.com, okay? Again, please take note that we have a QR code on the screen. Go ahead and get your bill uploaded. We got to start with step 1, guys. If you've heard anything I've said in this webinar, there should be no reason for you to not upload your bill, because again, it's free and it's no hassle. So I'm taking questions now, guys. If anybody has any questions out there, drop them in the chat for me. I will gladly answer them. I'll give you guys a couple of seconds. If you have any questions, drop them on Instagram Live in the chat. Any questions on Zoom, please go ahead and drop them in the chat. I will gladly answer them. And I'll give you guys a couple seconds to do that. And if I don't see any answers, then, any questions, I have answers. If I don't see any questions here, guys, which I'm not seeing any come up at the moment. Nope, no questions on Instagram Live. Well, all right, guys, I appreciate your time this evening. I am very thankful for you to come and listen to this webinar, Shining a Light on Solar Power, okay? We're shining a light on solar. I'm so glad you came. And I'm glad you came to learn how you can take control of your energy with 0 upfront costs. And if you want to do that, guys, then you need to get with Harbor Solar, the brown brokerage, all right? Again, contact us at info@harborsolarbb.com. That's our email. TikTok, Instagram, Harbor Solar BB. Our website is harborsolarbb.com. And then if you are on our Zoom, then you can see our phone number. If there are no questions, guys, you have a great evening. Thank you all. Good evening.